Hello everyone, this is Zeeebo and welcome to this AFK journey video. So in today's AFK journey video, we're going to talk about Fairy Sonata, everything you need to know or everything you might want to take note of before proceeding. So first of all, this Fairy Sonata is in sync with the VN side, meaning whatever we are getting right now is whatever we are seeing on the VN server as well. So there's no advance notice as to how the event looks like. And with regards to the Fairy Sonata, there is obviously the time gate as usual. Dimensional Rift, this is how the two of them came into Xperia, so feel free to visit the story or just skip through it to get your gems as well as your vouchers. And then for this event over here, there's a daily quest portion which you will have to complete to farm for your limited mage emblem, to farm for the resource stages. So there's going to be a lot of different energy system and there's going to be a lot of different currencies involved, but just know that this mage emblem will be your most important one to farm for the more premium resources, which we will run through later. So there's also the special part where if you're able to clear through all these different buffs over here, do take note, by the way, this buff, right, is if you unlock the power-ups, which I'll speak about in the event board later. So these are the different stuff you want to take note of for you to get this one. This one is actually really important. And then we have the coins, which you use to exchange for all this Lucy chests, as well as your invite letters for the dimensional characters right here. So we have 44 Lucy chests and 30 dimensional invite letters. And personally, I would say for Lucy's chest, right, the value to exchange for, or the better item to exchange for, would be the temporal essence, because temporal essence, I would say, is generally more expensive compared to like the gacha itself. But let's say if you are limited on your resources to pull for Lucy, then I think you should actually go for the Soul Sigil. So that's for the chest select for Lucy. So I think if I get it correctly, it's like M plus Lucy with 174 temporal essence, right, from all this chest right here, 44 times 4 here. So that's for the Lucy chest. For the dimensional invite, there's 30 of them, so that will probably help you with the gacha pool itself. So far, I think Lucy is slightly better than Natsu, but I will test Lucy a little bit more and then talk about her later. But that's for the mage market. Okay, so we have some temporal essence, we have some title essence, with Omi icons, with the soul sigils right here. So go for the items based on your needs. And I think as usual, I think as long as you're active on these events, you should be able to claim everything. So that's for the mage store side. Now for the Fabled adventure, let's talk about this. So this is also heavily time gated because we are done with this board state right here. The next one unlocks in like 4 days, right? 3 days, 20 hours, which is the reset 4 days later. So this board is pretty easy. You just like run through all the different stages, clear it really easily. There's the encounter stages where you need to clear specific quests to give you the coins. So one is recruit in Noble Tavern, the other one is increase Lucy's affinity. So I think the subsequent stages will have something similar. You have a board state where you need to go into battle, clear all the different challenges, and then progress from there, right? So that's that. There's also a resource stage which you're able to farm for your mage crest, the coins, as well as the heavy chest, which will give you the diamonds or the mage emblem or the origami hamster. So obviously I think the least desired one will be origami hamster from here, but this is the heavy chest side. But what I will encourage you to do is to not do it first, because this mage emblem, they are your energy, right? They do not get recharged by time, so you can just stock them up and then see how the next few board states are like, whether or not the future resource dungeons gives you higher resource efficiency before dumping your mage emblem. So ideally, or usually, the tougher or later stages will have a higher resource efficiency. So just take note of that. There's no rush for you to do it unless you really want to rush to complete your Lucy, for example. So that's for the mage emblem. So this is the important resource that I talked about. Every single day you can skip on this board state, but you must do your dailies to claim your limited mage emblem. Okay, so the reason why you don't have to do this daily is because for this board state, there's this power up where you get this dimensional crystal power up materials by just AFKing, right? So this is fixed at 300. I'm not sure whether or not this will increase over time, but you can AFK for 10 days and then come back later and you will still be able to get the max power up dimensional crystals. And this dimensional crystals is used to upgrade your abilities right here. So you choose between physical defense, execution, magical defense, and HP over here. I went with attack because attack actually gave me more pushing power in terms of finishing the stages faster. So that's why I went for attack. But I think I'm not sure what's the most optimal lineup. But this upgrading is basically a way to make your account stronger. So if you are a very developed account, I think this is not gonna sort of make you uber stronger, because you probably just like breeze through all the stages. But for the newer players, do take note that with regards to this stage over here, ideally I'll recommend you to focus on the defensive stuff if your team doesn't lack any sort of offensive carries. Like for example, if you have Shamira but you don't have your tank or healers built up, then building your team defensively such that your Shamira can come online is the way to go for the upgrading part. So this is, I'll say, to each their own. But for most players develop account, I don't think it matters too much. Like for my account, right, what happens is my Iron Armors combo pulls everyone together, my Shamira get off the ultimate, and then the opponent just melts. So I don't actually feel too much of a difference from these ability level differences. But I think for the newer accounts where your characters might be like at 1 copy, legendary, or the newer players, then it might make a difference here, because those additional stats gonna make your teams a lot stronger for you to clear through all the different stages. So that's for this ability side. So for every 3 of this ability, you upgrade. So for every 3 levels on each of this ability, you get a buff. So for me, I have the Entwine Fury right here, which gives me additional crit rate on allied heroes when dealing damage to controlled enemies. So this is the things that you need to know with regards to this stage. So I'll say relatively a flexible event. It's very chill. Like you can quick search all this different stuff and then battle it again, but most of the time the challenges is the once only stuff, and then you can check back to see whether or not you miss any of the encounter for your limited coins, and that's pretty much it for this event. So yeah, the next one comes in 4 days, so we shall see how it goes. But I'll say for the resource side, if you're in no rush to farm for your stuff, feel free to hold on to your mage emblem first and do your daily quest so that you are able to stock up on your mage emblem. Okay, so that's it for the Fairy Sonata side. Yep, so that's it for this video. Just a short run through of this event. So I can see some players sort of saying that, hey, it's time gated again. We have to wait for a little bit. But I think looking at it from another perspective, you don't have to be, you know, like revisiting this every single day. Just got to make sure you do the quest, claim the stuff, and then you can come back maybe 3 or 4 days later and do the Fabled adventure at one go, right? So that will actually be probably the better way to enjoy it for most people. Okay, thank you very much for tuning in. Do remember to like and subscribe to see more. I'll see you guys again in my next video. Bye guys.